This is Fictional Problems, the podcast where we discuss all things writing, in association with Speculative Fiction Ireland. On today's episode, among other things, we'll be discussing bad story ideas, we'll be talking about J.R.R. Tolkien's sequel to The Lord of the Rings, and we'll be discussing the 2017 movie Bright by David Ayer. Join us.
Hello again.
Welcome back, everybody, to Fictional Problems with me, Gary J. Martin,
And myself, and I am A.R. McNevin.
Yes, hello, everybody, and hello, Alan.
Indeed, yes.
And
So,
how are we today? We're good.
we're grand. It's raining, which is always good. I don't know how people can live in this country and not enjoy the rain. This is so.
I love the rain.
I-
Rain makes everything dramatic. Have you noticed?
Yes, even if it is this pissy drizzle or if it's torrents of rain, it's always just nice to have a bit of rain in your life.
Yes, indeed.
Sunshine is okay, but it's fleeting. Rain is permanent.
In Ireland, yes.
Great.
Rains all the time. So today we are going to try and cover a number of different topics, if we can.
Yep.
We'll try and break it down. Because we were discussing, say, maybe talking about bad ideas.
Yes.
For starters, might go through a few things that we
we'll see.
hope to cover, and
Yeah.
we'll see if we get there. So bad ideas was one. Then as a writer, when things kind of get you down, or not get you down, but kind of tend to drag, or you feel like
Things aren't working.
things aren't working out, we want to get into politics in a particular way.
Yes. I imagine we may state our politics and then move away from it. It's a jumping off point to discuss, because this is we are two cis male 40s white guys,
Irish white guys.
So our politics is pretty much almost set, somewhere in the center. So it's just that because I was thinking during the week, having certain events that have happened recently, certain narrative ways of thinking and talking, I thought that'd be a good thing to reference as a jumping off point.
Yeah, exactly. It's kind of like you can. We'll get into it. We'll get into the politics part.
Yeah.
And I think we were going to discuss the idea or the concept of plagiarism.
Yes,
in our narratives. Narratives.
Yes,
Stand corrected.
it is probably a ranting point for me, so we'll see how that one goes. But yeah, well, that we're trailering it for the end. Well, stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
For when Al goes off on a rant.
So bringing it right back to the start, we were going to talk about your worst ideas.
Yes. Okay.
These are stories that you graveyard, perhaps.
Yes, I tend to be a pack rat, so I tend to keep everything. I have just a file with or a Word document doesn't take up much room, so it's not exactly going to. I imagine most of it could fit onto some sort of floppy disk.
Yeah, and we're lucky we're living in the age that we don't have filing cabinets of started ideas and started novels that went anywhere.
That actually, I was thinking about during the week. I can't remember what I was watching, but I was watching All the President's Men, and there's a part in that where the two of them actually communicate, where Robert Redford and Dustin Hoffman communicate because they're under surveillance.
Right.
They're at a typewriter, and a great movie. And Redford died recently, and I was just watching a bunch of his movies, and I just thought, would I be the writer I am, or could I write as much as I do if I had to write in a typewriter? If I couldn't delete stuff.
Right.
So
clack, 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 clack.
But that clack clack was wonderful. I love the clack clack. But I was going to say, because you just said let's talk about worst stories, and I immediately jumped off on a tangent. But the thing I'm working on right now, I'm not writing linearly. I'm jumping right now. So, but yes, could I write if I wasn't using if I was just using a typewriter? Yes, but it would be much slower.
Yeah, which would be still faster than handwriting, or maybe.
Oh yes, but then, yeah, the printing press is a wonderful thing.
By whale oil lamp.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. So the one worst idea that kind of came to mind when I was thinking about this was a few years ago. It was an alien. So we all have there's all that ancient alien stuff. And what if the different races of humanity had different alien origins? So, like, as the Klingons were from, and the Vulcans were there. How profoundly fucking racist that was. And I said, bad ideas. But one of the reasons why I wanted to kind of talk about this is that that is profoundly racist. It is defining a clear distinction amongst people based on a third source. It is validating every eugenics, crackpot theory out there. It is really fucking bad.
That's a great worst idea to start with.
Yeah, I'm going for fucking brokenness, and I keep having to repeating, this is a fucking bad idea, and it popped out of my, and I remember going through it, going, okay, what about this, and then kind of merging different cultural elements and a lot of kind of Graham Hancock bullshit, the kind of, well, everything is, there's pyramids everywhere, so there must be a unifying Atlantean force, all that sort of bullshit.
Does it sound smarter if you said it in a rather posh English accent, though, like Graham Hancock? No, probably not.
No, actually, probably sound really, really worse. We have taken.
Okay, let's move on.
Like, what did the English do for years? Hello, do you have a flag? Oh yeah, you can take a horse. Now give us money. See that gold stuff? Oh, you don't want that. It's terrible for you. But we'll take it.
Yes, but we're all friends now, and everything's great.
Brexit. Yeah, this is not going to be political at all.
It's going to creep in like the tide in, in and out.
Yeah. Again, our histories must influence us, and yes, there within every,
we can't escape it.
Yeah, within every Irish person, there's a teeny tiny Fenian struggling to get out. It's like, what's the line about a cynic is a romantic who's dead inside, and I guess current Irish politics, we're all a little bit of a Fenian. We all want to rebel. We all want to have our own piece of land, and that's heavily dying out. But
put the fish hook in and wheel it back to bad stories.
We will.
We're doing great.
I will fucking tangent my ass off as I see fit.
Yeah, fair enough.
The kicker to this one was, because as I was thinking about it, I realized that the TV show Echo uses this plot.
I did not watch Echo.
Unfortunately, but essentially they state that an alien race is the source of this tribe of Native Americans.
Oh,
they are specific, and I was shocked at this. Is
it even like in real world? I'm just curious. Like, is it part of their people's belief?
No.
Is this like in line culturally sensitive to?
Oh no,
whichever.
No. Oh, absolutely not. This is white. This is white liberals writing for the and thinking it's okay. It's it's your standard breed of Marvel writer. It's just. It's really bad. Like, there is inside of there's hundreds of Native American tribes, or there was, with wonderful, beautiful, different histories. Some of them having similar things, as in they say their world origins involving snakes, or their world origins involving this and the other. And I do believe there are some that have a kind of a charge from the gods, kind of Starship Cometh kind of inference to them, because
there was even a Star Trek The Next Generation episode, wasn't there? That was all like the humans, the Klingons, everybody was coming together with a part of this.
Yes.
And then this
and Kardashians,
this new being, or an echo of, or some sort of, said, basically we seeded the galaxy with.
Yeah, we were the first, and we found nothing, and we died off beforehand. Yes. An old one species, which is actually that's an excellent point, because that as an origin is saying a single origin to a diversity.
Yeah, it's bringing everybody together under, like, as in everyone has this shared ancestry, so we're not that different.
Exactly.
I think was the message.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like we why are we at war? We're all the same. We all have, we all bleed red or whatever.
Exactly. Yeah.
Star Trek.
Yes. There is a wonderful set of similarities.
Yeah, nice message.
And people and the dissimilarities are great. Happy days. Yeah, because that's the thing that, again, because we're talking about a profoundly racist idea, that we are absolutely not saying that we should go back to that kind of origin point.
Yeah,
it is it is that, like, because you can say from a,
we're celebrating the diversity of
exactly
what they achieved. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. And we can say that, say, from a scientific point of view, I think it's this mitochondrial Eve. I'm getting that wrong. The mitochondrial. Thank you very much. Sorry. I don't speak.
I do science, me.
Yeah, that it's not an. I don't think it's an absolute truth, but it's an inference that we can all trace our origin back to origin of the species back to, I think it was 400 or 500 beings at some point, whether it be whatever point they were along the evolutionary trail. So without that group, we wouldn't be here. So a understanding and respect of where you're coming from. Yes, and they in Echo they basically went, we're sorry, we are special and we are wonderful because of that. And I was so blown away.
Yeah, it's like, okay,
profoundly. How can this is profoundly racist? And I was like, I had this idea, and I thought at the time,
it was bad.
I will never mention it. But clearly I fucked up that.
Boy. Someone else had a similar bad idea, but
went forward with it.
Oh wow!
And they clearly saw it as a positive. And I guess this is,
isn't it kind of, the way, because like I said, I haven't seen Echo.
Yeah,
but the way you're describing it, immediately it's coming to my mind that it's removing the agency of being special of that particular group of people because it's cause of something else.
Oh yeah.
Isn't it? It's like you, no matter what you did in your history as a people, no matter what you achieved, accomplished, or how you struggled and strived and survived, that's just because the alien was awesome.
Yeah, there was a transdimensional thing that basically bred into you, and it's the whole thing. Like, yes, Hancock, like the Atlantean stuff is. There is a lot of kind of white supremacy thing going on with it. Actually, one of the things I'm writing at the moment, which we'll get back to because the things that aren't working at the moment, is one of the characters is searching for Atlantis, essentially, and they find a portal doorway into a place, and ultimately she's not going to find it. So as I was writing, I was like, okay, I want to make this person not as, basically, it's set in the 1920s, so eugenics is a thing.
Yeah.
People are of a different type, different understanding, but I don't want them to be an out-and-out racist, but I do want them to be of their time.
Yeah.
That sort of way. So ultimately she's going to be proved wrong, and ultimately she's going to quote unquote evolve. But that meant doing a bunch of research into Atlantis and especially into Hancock and his because at the very least he is and I'm trying to be positive. Because he is a out and out charlatan. But wow,
I'm trying to be fair. I hate that guy.
No, but he is. That's
no. Do you not think he genuinely believes it? That's delusional, not charlatan. If he genuinely believes it, then he's delusional.
I think it's charlatanism because there was one of the documentaries I've watched many times before. Basically, so the BBC did a documentary on one of his books, a Horizons program.
Okay.
This was back in the 90s when Horizon was respected and not. Apparently, there's been a bunch of stuff that they've done badly recently. I don't know. I'm not going into that, but this was back when they were nicely respected. So he then took them to court, and the judgment was they had to redo the same episode, but include some more basically validation of their point, which put him in a worse position.
Oh.
So and he has to accept it. But part of it was they went through his old books, And in different books, he said Atlantis is in where it's meant to be, or sorry, Atlantis is in the Mediterranean, or it's in the Atlantic Ocean, or it's in the Antarctic, or he kept on jumping around where Atlantis could be, and it was each book essentially was creating a narrative on pulling in all this information from different sources and saying this date aligns. And the reason why I say he's a charlatan is that at one point in the interview he was asked, in this new book he doesn't make any reference at all to previous claims. And he says, yes, I didn't reference it at all. So that would be less of a believer moving through a path of belief, and more, I just want to publish another book with another narrative of it.
It seems like he's presenting a completely new argument.
Yes.
And nothing happened beforehand.
Yeah.
Up to that point.
Yeah. Okay. Familiar, like David Icke and all these sort of people who they actually, because this week
I do have a number of Graham.
You do books. Indeed. Yes.
I do.
That's
I found them interesting.
But they are I guess in the realm of bad ideas. They at least they come from a source, and kind of, it's like starting off. If you ever do research, people say don't start with Wikipedia. I would say always start with Wikipedia, because that has at least create a narrative for you, and then has a lot of references at the bottom of. So you read it and go, I don't agree with this. Let's go to the source, so that you can build from there. The with the Hancock stuff, it was. I've been thinking, should I just write? While I was reading this stuff, I was thinking, should I write this stuff? Should I take out the fiction from my fiction and go, I'm writing fact? And be the charlatan
and claim it as fact. Ooh.
Yeah, I get bad idea, but
it's right up there with that racist idea.
It is embracing the bad ideas and pushing them out, going, some say, and that the language that these sort of people use of pushing these bad ideas. So
when I'm thinking of bad ideas, bad writing ideas, myself, I can't necessarily say like I had an extremely bad racist idea, like we'll call it.
This isn't a challenge. You don't have to.
But definitely, like a while ago, it was like childish writing concepts. Like, I remember one that it was kind of like a kind of the story was sort of like a police procedural.
Okay.
Except a fantasy police procedural.
Sure.
With elves as the police.
Sure.
It focused on smaller specialized group within the elvish police.
Okay.
And they were like they were the secret woodland attack team, or SWAT.
Okay.
Yeah. This is how bad that idea was. That got buried so deep, deep in the ground. That was, I was like, oh yeah, you could have like the secret woodland attack team, and like they get these missions, and and they all have their different characteristics.
Sure.
It wasn't a wider fantasy thing. It was kind of, and I don't think I was going to be taking it seriously. Probably along the lines of a dungeon crawler, Carl.
Right. Oh yeah.
Tongue in cheek.
Sure. Yeah.
Where this group of ragtag elves, and it's only elves that are investigating elvish crime against other elves, and it's all in this forest, and and there's dragons in the forest, etc.
Sure.
But like I was like, oh no, it just felt like a weak concept,
right? Yeah. So this would have been Tolkien elves or diminutive elves.
Oh, Tolkien. Okay. Archery and magic, and that's fae kind of, and extremely long lives, and so they investigated things really slowly,
right? Because they have to have tea breaks, and they have to not investigate, and there's also the honor of things and different privileges and all that jazz.
Yeah, the idea was kind of like they'd be so kind of aloof and haughty that they would miss clues, and they just it was a bad idea. Although I had another bad fantasy idea, which it was okay. So I'll draw a slight comparison at the end of my description. Okay. So it was going to be about a group of mages.
Okay.
But their spells and their magic was essentially based on like the elements of the periodic table.
Okay.
And the more powerful ones were things like helium and radon and argon and krypton.
Okay.
And the title of the work was going to be called Noble Gases.
Okay. See, I'm getting. I'm not. As you were saying, I'm not getting a bad idea. I'm getting a Pratchett idea from that.
Yeah, but the comparison I was going to draw is like, because I had this years and years ago, but then I read Brandon Sanderson, Mistborn,
Yeah,
and I'm like, the allomancy.
Talk about bad ideas. Yeah.
The allomancy sounded very familiar. I was like, okay, I was using periodic table as opposed to just metals, but I was like, whoa, that's good. I felt a little vindicated that maybe my idea wasn't as bad as I thought it was, but I definitely buried that one deep right next to the SWAT team of elves.
No, okay. So, and also the idea of any bad idea can have can inside it bear good stories.
Yeah, and I think this is what we want to talk about.
Well, yeah,
fundamentally from bad ideas.
Yeah, because it was one thing that I will still watch bad TV shows, not so much in the last while. I've been watching a lot of old movies and old TV shows in the last while, but I tend to still watch bad shows, bad movies, knowing that they're bad.
Oh, no.
Hoping that there is whether it be a performance, whether it be because a lot of actors will say there's no, you don't give a bad performance, or the production you're in doesn't dictate your performance. Okay. You dictate your own performance. Yeah. Well, you could say the director might have or the editor might have something to say about that. They can provide moments, or they can provide just assistance to your own writing, as in because you can mine positivity from other places. Yeah. Indeed, as a slight tangent, the guy who wrote Fight Club, Chuck something or other, I'm blanking on the second name.
Chuck Norris.
Definitely not, because he's terrible.
Don't let him hear you say that.
He, in an interview, said that he would occasionally go into the emergency room waiting rooms and essentially listen in on conversations of people whose loved ones were dying in some point in the hospital, or the ICU waiting room. He would just sit there and he would and I think he even used the term vampirically. Yeah. So he was taking the bad experiences of other people and feeding on them for his own work. Yeah. So moving back to kind of the more kind of feeding on a bad idea or tripping from a bad idea. Well, all these sources, like take the periodic table one. Yeah. Many moons ago, I wrote a live action role play called Marriage of the Elements. Okay. Which was the 4 primary elements, and then the houses, the noble houses, not noble gases, but noble houses, were a creation of the combination of those elements. So if you got air and air and fire became electricity, earth and fire became magnetism. Okay. I can't remember so there was essentially you had 6 houses. Yeah. Or you should have had 6 houses, but when you add water and fire together, you get nothing. And when you get steam. Well, no, they neutralize each other. Or at least, sorry, in this narrative, you could have got pressure. No, absolutely, yeah. So I'm not saying you couldn't have got it, but in this narrative, you had 2 null houses essentially, and these became, and while the other 4 houses were noble and they pushed their powers and they rose in the society, these other 2 houses essentially disappeared. Okay. And they became, but then they noticed this group which were referred to as the House of Commons, which was basically just everyone else. Right. And this was a bunch of people who had basically while the 4 houses were planning their marriages and figuring out kind of basically
court intrigue.
Exactly. Yeah. The rest was just marrying so basically the powers never manifested. It was like you could even link it to like the dragon seeds in Game of Thrones. So this is a similar type of story of taking your elements or taking Sanderson. I fucking hate that. I hate that books more and more every day.
Just push some pewter or push some steel, you'll be fine.
Fuck that shit. But so even taking Sanderson's poorly realized almancy concept, taking your idea of the periodic table, because you could also do is take your periodic table and go, okay, and then move it back to the point where it was only half full.
Mm-hmm. You could discover more.
Exactly. Yeah. So these wizards, these new wizards coming along after Einsteinium gets discovered.
Unobtainium.
Oh yes, it does. It doesn't matter. You can add all these. So you are essentially future proofing your story by having this as your main line. Now the entire story may exist only within a few number of days. But you still have that out there. You have this concept that anyone who is aware of the periodic table, and you could have it on the front cover showing your version of the periodic table.
Yeah, they can see there's missing
pieces. Yeah. So it is, and you could have characters who are searching for it,
searching for a particular powerful element.
Exactly.
Radium.
Exactly. All the isotope stuff. You could like the idea of
plutonium.
Yes, of nuclear power essentially becoming a common or a commoner to merge the ideas. A commoner story of, well, they're not wizards, but they suddenly have the ability to destroy the world because of nuclear power. So those elements may never be part of the story you're writing, but they have the promise, the world building aspect. First time used in we're probably 20 minutes in. I haven't used the word world building yet, and now I just have. So yay, hurrah! So
27, we did well.
27 minutes, awesome, cool.
28.
Fine, okay. No, see, that's even better. But so we're taking the bad idea and we are mining it for potential good, and then merging it with other ideas. Okay. So and I said at the top that taking your wizard, the noble gases that does have a Pratchett feel to it.
Yeah.
So I could see a comedic.
That one wasn't like whatever the working title, but
yes,
while the elf one was definitely kind of tongue in cheek idea.
Yeah.
That one wasn't. It was going to be more kind of grounded, more adult. It's a serious kind of power struggle type of.
Oh, absolutely, sure.
A literal power struggle type of idea, and maybe noble gases was a bit ironic because of how these people weren't very noble at all. They're like power hungry, crazed people that would do anything for a bit of plutonium or whatever.
Oh,
that was kind of the concept. But now I'm gonna have to get the Shell Bobcat up and kind of dig these ideas up. Maybe at some point. Al, you've just made that idea great. Oh, collab.
Yeah, actually, because there's I think there was the story I was going to run for the D&D campaign. We started I don't know how long ago, and it fell apart, possibly because of COVID.
It was exactly because of COVID.
Yeah, it was. That has become what will be the basis for the next series of Quantumancy.
Oh, okay.
Which I won't start writing for about 10 years. As in, like the fourth book of Quantumancy is in progress, or well, it's open. Let's say, and I know. It's just I need the time to write it, and the actually also interest to write it, because I need to be motivated into those characters to give my best output. And because I want to write the characters to get to the end. It's the problem with, I guess, the world building is that I know
you're allowed to say world building.
Yes, I know.
I could hardly say it. It's fanfic. We don't want to say. Oh no!
31 minutes in,
there's steam coming out of his ears. In preparation for what we were going to talk about today, I was kind of looking up a few kind of examples just to maybe bring up for people who maybe weren't aware, and I certainly wasn't aware of some of these, but I didn't know that, like, so even the greats, even the masters, have ideas that they will deep six.
Oh, sure.
And like probably more than others. If it becomes a game of averages, then they probably have like 200 bad ideas and then that one cracker that will skyrocket them.
Yeah.
But apparently there was a sequel to Lord of the Rings. that J.R.R. Tolkien began.
Really?
Yeah, which it's news to me, but it was called The New Shadow.
Okay.
And so it was supposed to take place in Gondor.
Right.
And it was after the fall of Sauron.
Okay.
So it was like a follow-up. But apparently J.R.R. Tolkien kind of abandoned it after about 13 pages.
Okay.
Because he just thought it was too bleak and just kind of ruined everything that came before it. Yeah.
Sure, yeah.
So that is also a thing to consider, even at the master level that J.R.R. Tolkien was.
Yeah.
He couldn't follow up Lord of the Rings.
Oh, sure.
Necessarily. With that particular idea.
Couldn't follow up Lord of the Rings.
But not with that idea.
Yeah, but couldn't follow up Lord of the Rings is it's a high bar to try and pass again.
Yeah.
So I think it's okay that he could. That also, given his age and given his, I can accept that.
No, I just thought it was an interesting kind of point to note.
Actually, the one thing that actually came up in the last couple of weeks was, do you know the image of it's the Japanese tidal wave?
Yeah.
Which is, I think, it's ubiquitous. It's like the artist, and I'm quite sure someone will correct me in our comments. Do we have comments?
In our comment.
Yes, in our comment section, that the artist who created that also created a image of, or painting of, a woman having sex with an octopus.
Right.
And in this image, there's a text all around it, and it was tentacle porn, essentially.
Okay.
And it's like, and of course, it isn't as respected, let's say, as this wonderful image, this tidal wave image that has become ubiquitous around the world. So the idea of, yes, you can have bad ideas and then find a good idea later on.
Sure.
As to the corollary of having world influencing great idea and application, and then going, I'm not going to do the sequel.
Yeah, how do you follow up Lord of the Rings, really? But I mean,
well, yeah, how could? Well, I guess you could. How goes when what's her name? Rowling.
Yeah.
When she did essentially what I thought she should do, which was leave the genre.
Uh-huh.
She went off and wrote a series called the Shrike Novels, which was based about a
detective.
A former military police investigator.
Yeah, shifting gear completely there.
So, and her less than good opinions started to come out later on in the books. But yeah, but she's completely shifting away, as in Tolkien writing another genre outside of fantasy.
That'd be so weird.
Yeah, well,
I'm gonna write a buddy cop movie.
He originally, his draft of Bright, which I guess another example, because the Bright is a wonderfully terrible movie, and if you ever listen to this Lindsay Ellis's takedown of it is wonderful. It's some of these takedowns are very well done, and they are better than the and if you wouldn't have had the takedown without having the movie itself. And
from the trailers, I was so looking forward to this movie.
Yes,
I was like,
oh yes,
why hasn't this been done before?
Yes,
modern day. Like, what happens if you follow it through to modern day, like the medieval? Why is it always medieval?
Yeah,
I mean, I love that.
Sure, yeah.
But I was like, what would happen if they developed electricity and industrial age, and then move on into a modern age with technology?
Yes,
perfect.
Brilliant. Yeah, and indeed, inside this bad idea, you have the idea of these wands. Okay, so one in 100,000 humans can wield a wand. Okay, I'm dying of cancer. Give me a fucking wand.
Yeah.
Or I'm down on my luck. I'm homeless. Give me a fucking wand. And anyone who has the wand will go, sure, because I want someone who can use it.
Yeah.
So it would just be, you'd have this. It would be I don't use the word genocide, but it'd be a self-imposed of just people killing themselves just to get this power.
Sure.
Because that would be, if you think about it from a modern age point of view, as in the amount of people who the people who have literally killed themselves to be YouTube famous.
Yeah,
you have this capacity. Like there was that couple who she, while pregnant with her second child, she shot him with a Desert Eagle, a 45 caliber Desert Eagle, under the assumption that a book would block it. I was like, start with a 22, as to start with a smaller caliber gun.
Start with a bigger book, yeah.
Or just something.
Or don't stand behind the book.
Or that was the thing. But or maybe put the book in front of something and then shoot it first.
Yeah.
But they weren't thinking about it. But she was convicted of probably of manslaughter for killing her.
He did stand there.
Yeah, and basically be shot.
Permitted her to. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but it is. You can imagine the people around the world who get depressed, or as an amount of people who just go, I want to do this. So you have okay, fuck it, give me a want. I'll see if I can do this. See if I'm lucky enough to do this.
Well, was there? I can't recall now. Was there a penalty if you weren't one of the people? Did you?
You died.
You burned up and
you exploded. Yeah, it would be just it'd be you're rolling a dice and hoping to be struck by lightning twice and not be struck by lightning.
Yeah.
It would be why not for every so it is for every person who's down on their luck who doesn't see a way out, that's their way out. So taking that as a concept, you can say, okay, let's build a society where the ones are so rare that you can't do that. You can't just walk in. Sure. But if you had a situation where, because not all elves are brights, not all other races are bright, so they want to find the people who can use the ones. So sure, let's go through the cancer ward, or let's have a charity that, or we have a fake pharmaceutical company doing trials.
But I think you've already just hit on a potentially good idea.
Yeah,
there for like development even.
Yeah, there's meat to those bones.
Yeah, absolutely.
And indeed, to make bright better, essentially all you need to do is have some semi-decent writers.
Yeah.
You put them in a room, you show them the movie, you show them Ellis's critique of it, which I said is fantastic, and then go, right, fix the problems.
Yeah.
Just fix the problems. You can strip out the bad stuff, you can add in good stuff, you can build a lore that would make sense. And you'd have to shift things around a bit. You wouldn't end up with bright, which is a good thing. But you'd end up with you have such a potential, for a new world. I think,
you're kind of talking like almost a high concept version of Bright, where it's tackling massive issues in the world.
Yeah, like the role-playing game Shadowrun, that was set in 2050, and that had what was referred to as the goblinization, which was that elves, orcs, trolls, other things, and then elves and dwarves all just came out of humanity. So essentially it was a generational thing.
Yeah, okay.
That tall people would become elves or orcs or ogres. It would be that you took the entire human race and divided it down into sections.
As in their common ancestry was human.
Yes, or that all of fantasy kind of coalesced when magic went away. Essentially, all coalesced into a dampening down, a weakening, a dark age, a subdued.
Yeah,
you're just humanity, and then when this event happened, when magic returned, suddenly people got started presenting again as so the bloodlines.
I'm just asking, sorry to interrupt, but is Shadowrun as a sense, does that have the variety of like race class? Because I can't remember ever playing it. So
it was my childhood.
Okay, but is that like the current version, or because any kind of animated Shadowrun that I've seen, say on Netflix, Shadowrun 2079, I think it was one series.
Okay,
it's just humans.
Okay, so the
wasn't sure.
The up to, I can say with certainty, up to the 3rd edition includes everything. That the metahumans were elves, dwarves, orcs, and trolls.
Okay.
They then introduced ogres and one other thing in later supplements, and magic, hermetic magic, shamanic magic, adepts, and all that jazz were brought in, all lovely stuff. So all these different magics were brought in, and then all the technology, all the cyber technology, all the BioWare, all the guns, and all the jazz,
all of that, yeah.
and all that jazz. It was, yeah, it was my childhood. It is baked into my brain.
Yeah.
But unlike say Bright, which was or even Buffy the Vampire Slayer, which had a statement of this has always been the case.
Yeah.
It was as our world is now. 50 years from now, there has been 4 generations of, because this was written in the 90s, so this would have been, say, looking 70 years in the future, of technological advance and magical reintroduction and this expansion of the races. So it was it is actually, I'm remembering what Ellis was saying about this. It was that there is it's a good way to look at from a writing point of view of, if you start with Bright and go, okay, if you start from Tolkien and move it to modern day, the amount of things that can't happen.
Yeah.
Or the amount of things that, as in the example I think she gave was that they're living in Los Angeles. Los Angeles is named for Franciscan monk.
Mm-hmm.
So, well, did the Vatican exist ever? So, did the Bloods and the Crips exist ever?
Did someone just cast a revivify spell on Jesus?
Well, yeah. So you have did any of the current religions exist?
Sure.
So
that was the problem with Bright, is that it wasn't, for me, it wasn't thought through.
Yeah.
As in, someone didn't sit down and do the maths.
Yes.
They just went lift, turn, place, go. And you're like, well, that doesn't feel like, it doesn't feel earned. Nothing feels right.
Yeah.
It should have been like a fantasy version of Los Angeles, not called Los Angeles.
Yes.
It should have been, what it may have been called. Who knows? Like Dragon's Rest, but it looks like a Los Angeles.
Yeah. Or they could have still called it LA, but there would have been some words that would be like as an L and A. I was going to say layer or something like that. Layer Angeles. And then the place where the angels landed in some text, which was Laeris Angelicus. And they just refer to it as LA. Because it also the case that if, say, like it takes for Lord of the Rings, I'm going to forget, what's the place they all go to in the end?
No. Valinor,
yes. So, on multiple different points across the history, the land was changed.
Yeah.
It was once flat, then it was turned into a sphere. So Valinor could then disappear, and then they could send boats across, Christopher Columbus style, and find America sitting there. Yeah. So that's the new world, and that's why everyone went there, and so you end up with this real big push of why the races, say, the big melting pot of races, maybe because
it was a land rush, a land grab,
exactly,
or a gold rush, or whatever
a mithril rush,
exactly, yeah, perfect. But no one bothered to do the groundwork, and it could have been fantastic.
Yes,
it could have been so good had the structure just been put in place to make it, and I know I always come back to this, making it make sense.
Yes.
It doesn't make sense that, yes, they were in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't make sense that in all of Earth's history happened the way it happened, and now all of a sudden, bang, elves, dwarves, orcs.
Yeah, exactly.
No.
And also you also have to think about, well, crossing races. The amount of can elves and orcs interbreed? Yeah, because I'm sure they tried. I always like there's a comedian called David Mills, who's very, very funny, and he always goes on about the fact that if you do a 23andMe, you'll find Irish in there somewhere. Our national dance is involving thrusting motion of the hips, and you're surprised when you find yourselves find us in your 23andMe. So you would, with all this rush, with all this melting pot, there should be and yes, you can have all the if you want to have a racist allegories, if you want to have you want to have bigotry. You don't want to have bigotry, but you want to have as a story
demonstrated for the purpose of the tale. Yeah,
exactly. You have people who are pure breed, or you have people who are separate out. As
hierarchies,
exactly,
all of that kind of thing.
As I mentioned before, with the marriage elements idea, that you could have houses of elves, or even clans of orcs who completely maintained their ethnocentric purity.
And to bring back my other bad idea, you could have nuclear mages.
You can absolutely. So you can have, yes, you can have
Trademark.
you have radiological
Magic.
Yeah, exactly. So, and this could be something. Los Alamos could be a temple to these kind of or the worship point, or Los Alamos could be a steaming pile where it failed. Did the Nazis rise at any point? Did World War II? Did World War I happen? Which was more of a kind of build up release thing rather than the
an inevitability. So
yes,
described as
so since these things didn't happen, but you can still have, and indeed, what are you saying if you do go the inevitable route? Because the thing about just there is that you can track the same story along the way. You can say, okay, well, there was World War I because Russia was primarily this type, and the Allies were primarily this type, and you can map on. You can not do a direct allegory, but you can say that you can go out.
If you're doing economics and resources and starvation, that doesn't matter if Russia is primarily made up of elves or orcs or whatever, because you're talking about fundamental life requirements like food and shelter, and so on. So you could still, regardless of kind of demographic makeup, have an inevitability kind of situation, I guess.
But even if you took, say, you didn't have to follow the kind of the social political trends that led to these events. You just happened to have an event at that time, that then caused, that then snowballed into the next event, so technically, you could say you could get to present day Los Angeles or present day LA and have a similar enough feel to it. The problem with that statement is that you're removing agency from every character, because there's now, you've basically said that everything is going to happen the same way, no matter if there's elves involved or if there's elves or Nazis. Those are the two options right now.
It's funny that you would pick elves to be the Nazis.
I did not pick the elves. I said two things that are completely different. No, or well, maybe not. Actually, depending on your telling of them, I guess.
Yeah. If exactly, if you're to, that's what I think is, if you were to write elves, say Tolkien elves were inherently good,
right?
So they were striving for, they fought for good, and rather than they fought for themselves, which would be a particularly Nazi idea.
Well, yes, and I guess if you looked at, say, the Rings of Power elves, they're really fucking bad. So they are profound idiots. So they're meant to be 2,000 years old and they don't remember shit, which is the opposite to.
I can't remember stuff that happened last week. So in what regards?
But I think it's actually, and yes, it depends on how you write them, whether it be kind of the wood elf, the high elf, those archetypes. Absolutely. I remember I applied for a job in a games company many years ago, and they wanted a different form of elf. So I basically created the wild elf, wild spelled with a Y. These were essentially hippie elves.
Sweet.
So these were, if they would manipulate the plants around them for radical evolution, essentially.
Ooh.
So, and they'd have their own little groves, and they'd be kind of within the wood elf or the forests of the world. And these would, in a Monsanto kind of way, these seeds and these things would kind of filter out into the world. Some of them would take root, and some of them would then kind of be added to the natural ecosystem. Some of them would die out. So and these were wild so I said the Y rather than the I. So but that idea of those elves have now been added into two different stories. One was in the the Quantum Fantasy sequel, and one is it's a thing that I'll never get back to because there's too many things I'm working on. But every idea, and this is why I'm a pack rat, that every idea can be found to take root, in something else. Hell, we just spent the last half an hour talking about how bad ideas, some bad ideas, some publicly known, some less so, can be drawn upon and can be re-examined for their worth. And indeed, we could probably then take the same ideas again. Like you mentioned the idea of the woodland SWAT elves being them, how they operate was they're 1,000 years old. They move slowly. If you turn it into a hard boiled kind of world, or let's say even if you left it inside,
like the siege.
Yes, also the sieges and the
tower. I'm blanking on the actual correct name of that. It's never mind. Well,
attributes, man. Give me attributes.
Yeah. When you say hard boiled, it reminded me of this particular movie where it's similar to the Dread movie where they're battling up this block. The raid. I'm sorry, I forgot that. How did I forget that?
Yeah, I don't know how you forgot it. But you could by applying the hard boiled detective into that mix, or Agatha Christie into that kind of Hercule Poirot into the mix, you suddenly change how things are going to be seen, how things are going to be done. Like one thing and I'm going to say the world building again, that all characters in your story, and I'm going to make the statement absolutely, all characters in your story are in some way either a product of or a rejection of their background. So, and that they're within that spectrum.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it be someone who had, because almost every character that, whether it be in a D&D game or a story you're going to read, is out of their, or is looking to get out of their comfort zone, or looking to get out of a bad situation, a different situation.
Yeah.
They're looking for change. If they are a driving factor in the story, then they are the ones who ultimately are making a choice to step away. Frodo in Lord of the Rings is looking to make
Was that his choice?
He was. You could say he's.
Greatness thrust upon them, kind of thing.
Yes, but he still had the choice. Yeah. He was. You could absolutely say he was manipulated into it. But so was Poe but Bilbo decided to leave as well.
Yeah.
That these characters are ultimately making, even if it is on a intrinsic level, they are stepping out of their comfort zone and they're walking off to somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes literally.
It walked so far.
They walked and they walked and they walked.
They
walked. Where were the eagles? So we have
Hotel California.
Get your car down. Give us a bar. Yes, there's bad ideas. Some should never be touched ever again.
Yeah. Excuse me.
But
I agree. You have things though that you can rewrite or rewire, kind of. I guess as we were talking about, even with my bad ideas, which is there's always I suppose a value and a worth in keeping things and being a pack rat with all your ideas. And
even going through the bad ideas, even going through, as yes, I started off with a profoundly racist idea. I want to stress that. It started with a profoundly racist idea. Are we editing this out? No, we're not.
Are you digging that one up? No, I'm not.
But I kind of wanted to stick on it, and the reason why I do go back to it in a mental sense is that, one, it gives a good sense of boundaries, that being aware of where you shouldn't go. But as we talked about, you want to give bigots, or you want to include in your story negative things for the heroes to be against. Yeah. So you want to have a bigot, you want to have a racist, you want to have sexist, and this is perhaps maybe it is a thing I have that I'm not seeing in more modernly written stuff, is that there's a lack of the of the understandable villain, or the villain who you could agree with, because they're just arch.
A sympathetic villain?
A sympathetic villain, yes, absolutely.
Someone that people can relate to,
yes,
even if they don't necessarily agree with.
Yeah, like the one that always jumps to my head is, and perhaps this maybe not a great example, is Hubble from The Rock, Ed Harris's character.
Oh yeah, great example.
He is ultimately a very good guy. He never aims to kill people, and it's ultimately the mercenaries that he has with him who become kind of the villain at the end. They're the bad guys at the end. But he's taking actions for himself.
Yeah.
Actually, perhaps a better understandable villain would be, and it's staying in the 80s or the 80s/90s genre, as Tony Lee Jones' character in Under Siege. He's the main.
Wow, deep cut. Can't recall his motivations.
I can even Strannik is his name.
Oh boy.
He is.
I know he has a leather jacket. That's about it.
He does have a leather jacket, yes.
And a bandana.
And all he's doing is he's stealing nukes for money. But he is understand Hans Gruber.
Hans Gruber.
These are understandable villains that you empathize with, but you are also happy when they die.
You're a petty thief. No, I'm an exceptional thief.
And since I'm moving up to kidnapping, you should give me more respect. There is almost a fear now of, we don't want, because the writer has become so attached to the work that it is, they don't want to seem in any way bad, bigoted, isms.
Yeah.
They don't want to see it as reflected in their work. And if you write too well your villain, you are seen as the villain. And I and perhaps it's a gross oversimplification, or perhaps it's not, that the better the villain, the better the hero.
Yeah.
The better the obstacle, the better the wall you put up against the protagonist, the greater the challenge they have to overcome, the better the story tends to be. It's not an absolutism, but it's a good rule of thumb.
The lyric of the song: the higher you build your barriers, the taller I become.
Yes, that's anti-apartheid, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. I have vague recollections of that. Yes, that's a lovely song. So you want to have shit heels. You want to have bastards. You want to have these people who are horrible, but you want to have them acting rather than being arch. If you want to have an arch villain, go for it. Have an arch villain.
Dark Lord.
Sure. But even the biggest, baddest Dark Lord of them all, Darth Vader, was conflicted.
Mm-hmm.
Even you could even also say that the Emperor had a bit of conflict. He was more arch, but you had elements inside of the villainy essentially being understood. You didn't want them to win, but you did want them, and you did want them to, I don't know, survive or have an evolution. All these different stories that have disappeared, all these movies that have disappeared, that they didn't have they weren't looking to write create a good, lasting thing. They were just looking to
a foil for the hero. Is it?
No, I was thinking more of the lines of they were just looking to fill a slot.
Oh, okay, tick a box.
Yeah, and I think that we are in that period at the moment that because of the different ways that we can put our content out there is plenty of content which is just, I can do this thing. And also we could be those people as well. We could be the hollow shits as well. This is not outside the realm of possibility. So we could be ironically talking about our own shit. That's always a possibility.
Yeah, but I don't think I could just if I was making a serious attempt at a piece, unless it was, like you said, like a Pratchett-esque,
sure,
kind of tongue-in-cheek stab at a story. I don't think I could write a hand-wringing, evil cackling cartoon villain.
Sure, and
if I was taking myself, I wouldn't take myself seriously or the villain seriously if I was to put someone like that in a serious effort.
Oh, sure, no, and
I just couldn't do that.
I don't think you have in Knights of Galgera, or Knight of Galgera, should I say? I think that there is sufficient meat on the bones of all the, because I don't think you have many antagonists, or you have people who consider themselves antagonists, but you have a lot of protagonists who are just it's more of an ensemble of different agendas, different directions coming into conflict, which I think makes it a standout piece.
Thank you. Yeah.
That there is, so that when someone is looking at this, they generally will go, okay, well, we want the admiral of the fleet to win. We want the barony to be taken over. We want the church to be taken down.
Yeah.
You know, you have all these people who are going, well, we're invested in this. So, and it is
could the point you're making bring us along to the point on politics that we're trying to make?
We can, after a pause, so that I can untwist my leg.
Yes. Okay. We will take a little break here, and we'll come back.
In a moment.
In a moment. Yeah.
Get a cup of tea.
If we're all still here, definitely a cup of tea.
Okay. In a moment.
We'll see you in a bit.
Back.
Thank you for listening to Fictional Problems, in association with Speculative Fiction Ireland. On our next episode, we're going to talk about our political alignments, freedom of speech, and how the politics of the world may or may not influence your writing. Join us.